The night hung heavy over Lagos like an old wrapper, the kind that has seen too many washings but still refuses to tear. Streetlights blinked lazily like tired eyes after a long day. The air smelled of dust, exhaust, and roasted pepper, the city's stubborn perfume. In the middle of this restless night, a young man named Femi, his clothes hugging him like an unpaid debt, walked with the swagger of someone who carried bigger dreams than his pocket could hold. They say the city speaks to those who listen. And on this night, with the moon hung like a lantern over the lagoon, Femi would hear a whisper that would change the course of his destiny. Femi was a man like many others in Lagos, tall and lean, with eyes that had seen struggle and a heart that knew no bitterness. He worked at a printing press in Mushin, a place where sweat mixed with ink, and the machines sang louder than the men who worked them. Yet in his heart, Femi dreamed of more. Now, every man's story is incomplete without a woman, and for Femi, that woman was Jennifer. Ah, Jennifer. Skin like polished mahogany, a voice like morning rain on a zinc roof, and a laugh that could cure a man of sorrow. She sold thrift clothes in Yaba Market, Okrika Original as she called it, and with every sale, she told a story not just of fashion, but of survival. They met one evening at a buka where the aroma of pepper soup filled the air like a blessing. Femi, tired and with barely enough for a plate of rice, found himself seated beside Jennifer, who, without asking, slid half her meal toward him. "Eat, stranger," she said with a wink. "Life is too short for empty stomachs." From that moment, their fates entwined like the threads of Asho Oke, and together they faced the city's storms. But Lagos is not a city for the faint-hearted. It tests the man who dares to dream and tempts the woman who dares to love. There were days when their pockets knew only lint, and the landlord's knock sounded like thunder. Yet in their tiny one-room face me, I face you, they held on to each other like travelers in a storm. One evening, as the sky wept and the earth drank its fill, Femi returned home with a look in his eyes, the kind of look a man carries when the city has whispered to him. He spoke softly. "Jennifer, I saw a man today." By Third Mainland Bridge. Old, with eyes like coals and a voice like the wind, he told me of a place, a job and a chance, but it is far and it is dangerous. Jennifer looked at him, her eyes steady. "Femi," she said, "what is fortune without risk? If you fear the storm, you will never see the rainbow." So Femi set out the next morning, before the cock's second crow. The road was long, the city unforgiving. From Agege to Lekki, from Makoko's floating shanties to the high towers of Ikoyi, Femi chased a dream shaped by the words of an old man. Days turned into weeks. Hunger gnawed, shoes wore thin, but hope. Hope is a stubborn thing. Then one fateful night, beneath the shade of a mango tree, Femi found it. An abandoned printing press, machinery forgotten but still breathing beneath the dust. He gathered men like himself, dreamers, hustlers, men who knew the sting of empty pockets, and they built. Brick by brick, word by word, Femi's name began to echo through the city like a song. Posters, handbills, banners, anything that carried ink and a message, Femi's hands touched it. Back in Yaba, Jennifer held the fort. She turned her little stall into a boutique. No longer was it Okrika Original, but Jenny's House of Style, a place where the market women came not just to buy but to be seen. Their fortunes grew, but Lagos never sleeps. Jealous tongues wagged. Friends became shadows. A rival named Yimika, a man of empty laughter and hungry eyes, sought to claim what Femi had built. One night, Yimika sent men with cutlasses and fire, but the city, ever watchful, betrayed his plan. An old beggar, blind in both eyes but sharp of ear, heard the whispers and sent word. Femi and his men fought not with weapons, but with wisdom. They diverted the attackers and called on the market women, the street boys, and the bus conductors whose pockets Femi had filled with job flyers. Together, the people rose. By dawn, Yimika had fled, his plans scattered like chaff before the harmattan wind. When the dust settled, Femi stood before Jennifer. "This city tried to bury me," he said, "but it did not know I was a seed." And Jennifer, with tears in her eyes, replied, "And I am the rain that made you grow." Today, if you walk through Lagos, they say you can still see their names. On shop signs, on billboards, in the laughter of street children, in the eyes of lovers chasing dreams beneath rusted rooftops. For the city may test you, but don't panic. It also remembers those who dared to love and build within her heart. But remember, the city still whispers. Perhaps tonight it will whisper to you.